Due to the coronavirus pandemic, many places around the world have restricted movement and gatherings, or people have taken it upon themselves to stay safe and social distance, reducing transportation significantly. And this change has reached our own community in San Diego. Since April 13th, the Metropolitan Transit System has decreased bus and trolley service by around 25% overall due to a drop in passengers. And considering the pollution produced by transportation, it's not crazy to expect improvements in the environment.
Hello, my name is Jacob Dadman. I am a third year at UC Berkeley. I study environmental and public policy and forestry management. In California, transportation, I believe, um, is actually the largest emitter in the state.
And some communities might already be feeling the effect of reduced emissions. Some California residents in particular have already noticed a cleaner ecosystem.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Bowden. I'm a research analyst for the Center of Sustainable Energy, and I got my master's degree from the University of Chicago in environmental policy and politics. Many of our respondents have reported, a majority of our respondents, in fact, have reported that they've noticed an increase in air quality in the cities in which they lived during the lockdowns.
And for the critics among you, these reports are not unsubstantiated.
And we have seen, since the beginning of the pandemic, 4 cities that have been locked down, an improvement in multiple environmental indicators. Those include improvements in air quality, including a noticeable difference in nitrogen dioxide and particulate matter, and a decrease in other GHG emissions.
And these can have a huge impact on the local community.
So from a scientific perspective, as well as from like a health and community perspective, it could show really good benefits if we were to be able to cut down transportation or use cleaner transportation.
Despite it helping, it's not the end of climate change or pollution by any stretch of the imagination.
If we stopped emitting all greenhouse gases like point blank tomorrow, we would still feel the effects of climate change for the next 50 to 75 years. That's just something we're locked into at this point.
It gets worse. Coronavirus has made people use transportation differently in negative ways too, and it could have dire consequences.
What we're seeing in LA is that during the height of the pandemic quarantine, we did see improved air quality and definitely improvements in congestion. But we shortly after, so that existed in March. But then what's really interesting is now looking at the trends that are happening in May, we're seeing even more VMT in use of private transportation because it's sort of like a bounce back effect of the quarantine. The more people feel like they're being kept at home, as soon as they're allowed to go out, they're choosing to participate in behaviors that are more destructive to the environment.
Regardless of how negative and disappointing some of the results seem, we can actually learn something from this situation.
There's many more people are going to be working from home. Whether that is because there may still be chronic outbreaks as the virus mutates, and so social distancing may just become the norm, or whether it's people who are working and realize that I can actually I can just work from home permanently.
And environmentalists are confident we can use this technique to improve pollution levels in the future.
Taking that into account, I would say that we could see the improvement that we have seen during the quarantine.
And we can continue to cut out large amounts of transportation considering there's a lot that can be worked remotely.
We're living in this weird time where we're trying to figure out, like, do I really need to go to the office to do my work, right? Do I really need to go to my 9-to-5 job and sit in a computer at a desk when I can do that? So I think a lot of industries right now are really take into consideration the benefits, of working from home, having the employees work from home.
Teleworking would certainly create an impact on the environment. However, there's many jobs that simply require in-person work and transportation is needed.
So there's industries that you physically have to be at the job site, right? You want to think about building trades, about construction, a lot of our essential workers, right? A lot of folks who work at restaurants, hospitals, nursing home facilities. These are, these are job trades that you need to be physically present, right, in a certain job site.
These emission sources still need to be stopped, but just teleworking can't fix it. That's why a lot of environmentalists are emphasizing the need for greater changes.
But we can certainly begin to do damage control, and to reduce the severity of those impacts by further reducing the carbon load of our transportation networks. And this doesn't necessarily have to mean people traveling less, but rather people traveling more efficiently.
However, the appeal of these greener forms of transportation need to be increased if they are to be considered a reasonable choice for the public.
SANDAG stands for San Diego Association of Governments. They did a recent study that showed that the average commute time for people who ride transit, like public transit, like bus and trolley, is 51 minutes, right? So if the average time to get to where you need to be is 51 minutes, and the average time to get where you want to be in a car is 10 minutes, it's an obvious pick of what people are going to choose. It's faster to get anywhere in a car.
There's certainly a lot the coronavirus situation can tell us about environmental conversation considering the future of teleworking, but it's definitely not a miracle solution to the emissions crisis in our community, and it's generally incentivized non-green polluting private travel. In general, there's still a lot more we can do and need to do, including working remotely, to save the environment.